All right, everyone. Meteorologist Matt Huffner joined with the Chief, Jamie Warner, here to answer the question, probably that a lot of people have,
Are we safe?
Is it safe
Is
to
it
plan?
over?
Can we do it yet? We had the freezing temperatures for Monday, for Tuesday. Are we getting any more? Can we start planning? We're watching kind of our engineer, Dave Smith, working on his dirt patch out back Color 10, tilling the land. He's ready to get with it. He's going to start planting green beans
back.
tomorrow.
You know, those raised beds right there, they have been back there since at least the late 2000s.
Okay.
At least the late 2000s.
Okay.
I mean, this would have been back in the time when we had a meteorologist named Jill Gilardi.
Yes.
And this was her segment.
Really?
Yes, this was her segment, was the gardening. And then when she left, those raised beds sat there, unused for years.
And
I
we're
mean,
bringing it back to life.
I'm gonna guess a full decade went by. I mean, we had trees growing in those raised beds. So to see what they look like now, I mean, there was a lot of work, and of course that work was done last year.
He did it last year. I think that was the first year he kind of revamped this, and there was cucumbers. I mean, giant-sized cucumbers out of this, and he's planting more cucumbers. He says he's going to be planting green beans tomorrow. He says he's going to hold off on a couple things. I think he's holding off on his tomatoes. But
yeah, I think thinking back to last year, I want to say there were some hits and there were some misses. I think they got a lot of tomatoes. They got a lot of cucumbers. I had a few of the cucumbers. Those were good.
Yeah. Cucumbers were a big hit.
I don't remember a lot of beans. I don't know if he even grew beans last year. The squash, we had trouble with the squash.
Yeah.
And I think that there was also a few pumpkins that were planted that did not do well.
Yeah. Dave's came in with a game plan. Hey, we're going to make it better this year. So let's talk about the weather aspect. Dave is, he's our expert. He's our engineer here, chief engineer. He's getting the dirt patches underway. Do you think most people are going to be safe to plant? I kind of wrote an article about this, and I think any kind of colder weather plant, your beans, your lettuce, your carrots, absolutely. Maybe you might want to hold off on tomatoes just a little bit. I think you could get away with it.
Well, because a lot of that stuff is going to take some time to germinate.
Yeah.
So you're putting the seed in the ground, and it's going to sit in the ground for a little while before you start seeing some sprouts. So at this stage of the game, I mean, on average, our last freeze here in the Springfield area, and generally speaking in our area, it's around the middle of April. I say around because it's different for different places here in our zone, but generally about the middle of April is when we get that last freeze.
I think April 15th on average. We got a graphic. I'll type it in, pull it up right now as we're talking. But you're saying, hey, you think the pattern is going to be staying a little bit warmer. I agree with you on that. Here's the graphic that we're talking about. We've had a freeze all the way back until May 9th. So kind of our earliest last freeze, the earliest we've had to deal with any freezing temperatures gotten done with the year was March 16th. The latest is May 9th. Typically, April 15th is where that last one is going to occur.
And a lot of folks around here would tell you, okay, you can hold off to that average last freeze date.
Yeah.
Give it another week.
Yeah.
Hold off until after the 21st, and then you should be safe.
Well, this is the pattern for the next, I believe, 10 days, staying above average. The only exception to that is Friday, where we get a little bit colder and we're not getting freezing temperatures on Friday. I think the longer range pattern, if we kind of look past the next 10 days, we're not seeing anything that screams harsh freezes, any freezing weather, near normal temperatures, maybe even above average temperatures at times for the start of the year.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of looking. So, I was saying this last night. Is that we're running out of not only we're coming up on the average last freeze date, but so we're running out of calendar for this to to expect this sort of thing to happen.
Yeah,
and the overall pattern really doesn't. We're in a pattern. We're kind of in that sweet spot. If you remember back to last week was very active because we had a trough in the west. Well, if you have a trough in the west, that usually means you probably got warm conditions in the eastern United States. That's great for growing, but it's bad news this time of the year because typically that also offers up opportunities at severe weather. But you get a trough in the eastern United States that tamps that down, at least this time of the year, tamps down that risk of severe weather, but then that also brings about the risk of colder temperatures. And we already had a couple of freezes, like you said, Monday morning and Tuesday morning. Now, thankfully, those freezes weren't that significant. They weren't really hard freezes for most areas. So we kind of skirted by with that cold snap without really seeing any significant damage from those freezing temperatures. And now looking forward, it looks like we're probably over the next week and a half, and that'll take us through the middle of the month. Over the next week and a half, we're going to tend to keep a trough trying to show up in the eastern United States. Are we going to see more cold weather? I think we're going to get these shots of chilly air, but it doesn't look like anything that's cold enough to warrant a freeze. It looks like the focus really for these blasts of cold over the next week and a half will be into the Great Lakes and the Northeast and right along the east coast of the United States. So we're kind of in that sweet spot where we're tamping down severe weather chances, and we may be able to skirt by without any additional freezes.
And that's what we're going to see on Friday, where it's one of those days we get a little bit colder. It's not too drastically cold for us, but it's going to be a lot colder for areas closer to the Great Lakes, the Ohio River Valley. I haven't done any planning yet, and the reason why is I live in an apartment. I want to start getting gardening, and my family.
Get some hanging baskets.
Yeah,
for your
those
balcony.
those are excuses. At this point, I feel like I can get away with it.
Yeah.
But have you done any gardening yet? Have you started?
We did a lot of work in the backyard, kind of, like a lot of folks do this time of the year. Already put like fertilizer down and things like that. Put some grass seed down.
Yeah.
Overseeding. But haven't really put any, like, we're not going to have a garden this year, and I don't plan to do anything like that. But still, I've held off on, like, some of the cold-sensitive type plants that you could go ahead and put in the ground, things like impatiens. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to hold off on the impatiens.
Okay. Paying you for the puns.
I'm going to hold off on the impatiens. Maybe I may go buy some this weekend and then kind of keep them safe. Hey, I see you over there looking at me, Brady. I may hold off until this weekend to buy any impatiens. But then after that, I may look at putting them in the ground over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you guys. When are you going to plant? Do you have a magical date? There's some people that say, hey, I don't plant until after Easter. I don't plant until after Mother's Day. There's people that have a hard date.
Mother's Day is so – you had to wait way into May.
I know. There's people that are passionate about perfect times to plant. Let us know what you're going to do. We're just not seeing any hard freezes coming our way, so don't let the weather be an excuse for that. More updates on our website, ozarkfirst.com. Thanks, guys.